is November 2, 2024. I turned 21 today. I should probably be slizzard right now with my friends, but instead I spent my day doing a jigsaw puzzle.
This is Tails Jekel, an artist you may have heard about. Most recently, Tails competed in Art Prize, a huge competition held in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where the winner is determined by popular demand, as in the people who walk through and view everything can vote. They went there with a piece dedicated to Gloria White, a mother murdered by her own son due to failures in the healthcare system. Typical. Otherwise, you may know them as that one artist getting really into drag, or perhaps from one of their viral TikTok videos where they play with their sensory wall. Either way, whether you've heard of Tails or not, I invite you to join me for the first weekend spotlight, where I briefly highlight the works of talented and skilled modern-day artists. Let's get into it. Tails Jekel began their art journey in middle school at the young age of 14, teaching themselves to paint by feeling it out or experimenting with the material itself. They also made studies of other painters' works, trying to get into the mind space of the painters of old. Fast forward to their senior year of high school, where through sheer force of will or confidence, backed by a very good amount of skill, Tails applied to galleries, trying to see whether or not any of those galleries wanted to host them. And out of all that they applied to, one gallery said yes. J. Petter. J. Petter Gallery saw the potential and partnered with Tails, making them the youngest artists to ever have a solo show there. It was at this show where Tails found their first bits of real success in the art world, selling several of their works. In 2022, Tails went to Michigan State University as a studio art major. And in my humble opinion, Tails was already skilled enough and made connections through their solo show, so they likely didn't really need to spend the money on additional schooling. Regardless, though, I'm not really going to knock school. At the same time, there are lessons all around us if we are open to learning. So for the time Tails spent at university, they did manage to take something from their education. Traditional realism adjacent portraiture, it's a mouthful, is how they describe their art, and according to Tails, schooling is geared more towards their style of art. Through that schooling, they learn new ways to look at their art and what emotions and messages their art conveys. However, while there were lessons to be learned, and they did enjoy their art classes, ultimately, art school didn't make a lot of sense. They were already quite skilled, had a unique style, focus, and connections. Where most people go to art school to learn or refine their skills so that they might make strides in the art world, Tails was already beyond that step. The exorbitant cost did not help. As a result, Tails dropped out to become a full-time artist, finding the life of creating in solitude quite comfortable as a heavy introvert and very welcome. Now, let's actually talk about their art. A lot of the paintings Tails makes are crafted from the ground up, by stretching the canvas over a frame, and the reference photos are more than simply taking a picture. For their painting Sinking, they built a bathtub to photograph themselves in. And for other pieces, they even learned how to make drag costumes just to be able to paint it appropriately. Tails even mentions how realizing that when you're changing your bone structure, you actually have to apply makeup to make up for the fact that your face still looks a certain way. So you have to shade it differently. That's probably not explained very well, but if you really want to figure out what was being said, you can watch the video. Tails is also a fairly unique artist, if not person, considering they have something called aphantasia, which 3% of the population has. And what aphantasia basically is that you can't, or a person can't imagine anything.
I want you to close your eyes and try to imagine an apple. Okay, you got it? Now open your eyes, and I have an image on the screen. Now, what did you see in your head? Me personally, I saw nothing. It's completely black.
Looking through these paintings, the skill involved and the dedication is very clear to see. But besides those factors, I think what strikes me the most when looking at them is the majesty everything is given. Many of these are just portraits, something I usually find uninteresting, but when you look at a Tails Jekel, there's a sort of life and intimacy to it all, or perhaps just power and significance. One of my favorite paintings Tails has done is this painting, trying to capture the feeling of nostalgia. I don't know what it is about blue and winter, but seeing it so on display in this image feels almost magical. I enjoy cold weather and gloomy days. I know, very stereotypical of writers. And this captures more the quiet moments of walking home alone across a snowy bridge, thinking about the quiet night planned with a cozy book and a warm cup of tea. If I could sell just one painting, meaning this one, then I could turn around and buy this Tails Jekel piece. For sure, this would be the first I would buy from them, just to see up close the decisions that went into every brushstroke, and have this piece for quiet contemplation. But that painting aside, Tails Jekel is in no short supply of wonderful pieces. I love how this piece seems like it's breaking out of a frame that can represent society or expectations or whatever, as the person within, in this case Tails themselves, is breaking free of said expectations. The vibrant red, striking pose and energetic movement of the piece gives it a real power that is hard to capture. And then this piece, 1 to 100, is the time-lapse I watched and how I first found Tails, like so many others. What I really like about this piece is the ethereal nature of it and the flowing form spiraling towards infinity. The negative space really helps contort the overall shape of the image to become this river flow of people marked only by a number of believed significance. It feels like it represents the flow of life, and along that flow, we humans are temporarily passing, judging ourselves, valuing ourselves based on those around us. I think it's a very powerful piece where you would definitely hear some dramatic opera music or classical music playing in the background when viewing it. And then, of course, there's Tails, right there, punching to the side, once more, presumably breaking free of these constraints, like an artist type. Here's another piece. As I said earlier, I normally don't like portraits, but this piece is of their lunch lady while they were in school, and it really elevates her status to be of a figure of great importance with great tenderness to her. Look at her expression and the energy she's giving off in this piece. I just think it's incredible how Tails can do this with a brush. And I wanted to keep this spotlight sort of short, so I don't want to fawn over every single piece, but this one I think is important. This is a memorial piece for Aiden and his mother, Gloria White. The story behind this family is actually really tragic. The son in the picture, Aiden White, suffered from mental health issues like schizophrenia, and one night when he came home, he had this delusion where his sibling had been dismembered, and he thought the only other person in the room was responsible, and that happened to be his mother, so he killed her. And knowing that it was entirely avoidable makes the entire thing just heartbreaking. If only the healthcare system decided to listen to him when he tried to check himself in. They claimed he was he seemed like he was too there, too present, as in he mentioned he needs to be checked in, and when they asked if he had tried to kill himself, he said no, and they asked, well, do you have a gun? And he said no, but he could get one, and they told him to come back when he's serious. It's just such an injustice. And knowing the story behind the piece makes this painting incredibly moving and tragic, and I think it is an incredibly beautiful memorial piece. I can easily see this at a funeral and hung over their graves with flowers around it, giving everyone a view of this family at their best, where you can really see their humanity. And this piece was also an art prize and did not win, unfortunately. But that just means we're going to have another amazing piece in this year, so can't wait for that. But moving on, if you want to know more about that story, I'm going to leave a link to these videos in the description. So, the last piece I wanted to show off is this most recent piece of theirs. It's another piece in drag where they made their own costume once again and displayed it at shows. And I believe they called this, when describing it to people, a gay deoxys, which, I mean, I saw that right off the bat when they were first making it. I totally saw deoxys, so that was kind of hilarious. That's exactly what they called it. But yeah, I love the use of framing in their pieces. It's something I've been thinking about doing for a year now in my own art, and especially since getting into Art Nouveau, and just never really get the time and opportunity to experiment with it. But I will say, though, this piece is quite strange and seems like an alien peering through a doorway into our world to get a better look. I think that's actually why I like it, because it's like this strange being, Tails themselves, connecting with the viewer. And ever since messing around with cave paintings, that's always how I feel when I see walls painted with hands. Like, you could place your hand over it and connect with the artist from tens of thousands of years ago. I also love that the actual canvas is window-shaped rather than a rectangle, because it really adds to the strangeness and doorway effect. So, really cool. Okay. I said that was the last one, but this is really the last one, I promise. This piece is the highest and lowest place on Earth, and another I think is technically impressive, but also evokes feeling in me, which is rare in general for any piece of art to do for me. So I think the underwater feel and this person just lying there, drowning seemingly, like so many in the world, really speaks to me. It evokes this sort of moment like in movies where the characters slowly sinking in the water, looking up through to the shimmering light just out of reach. They're drowning and think they're gonna die right before we see their hand reach out of the water and then their head pop out. They take a deep breath and are reinvigorated with life. If that made sense to you, you're probably as strange as me, so congratulations. So that's what I get from this piece. It's that moment before the rise where you're contemplating everything. The light flashing before your eyes. Everything looks like it's underwater, but just wait one moment and things will turn around. That golden shimmer feels like hope shining from beyond the shallows. It's so good. All these works are very impressive, and I believe the works of an artist that deserves to be remembered from our current age. I wanted to talk about them because people often overlook the greatest of our generation. Not always, but it happens more than, we like to admit. Just think about, Van Gogh, or Emily Dickinson, or Franz Kafka. People who we now highly regard and at the time completely overlooked. Tails, I hope, will, not fall into that category, and so far I don't think that would happen. They already sold more than Van Gogh, so that's a start. Tails, though, was dropped from their gallery recently because their stuff is weird. And yes, sure, the gallery understands that they probably can't sell Tails' work to their clients, but I still think there's a certain injustice to it when looking at the paintings Tails creates. I mean, they sort of speak for themselves in terms of quality and what they should be priced at, but even so, Tails is like nearly a decade younger than me and has so much life ahead of them that I think they'll be fine and really succeed. But just because they will achieve great success in the future doesn't mean they don't deserve recognition now. If I had any money, I would support them. But alas, my wallet subsides off of dust mites, so I'm only able to make this video. And if you somehow found this video and are able to support this artist, and more importantly, want to support this artist, I'll leave a link to their works and how to find them in the description. I know right now they have classes, so if you're trying to learn something, you can do that. And I'll also leave that link below. So, thank you for joining me for my first weekend spotlight. And let me know in the comments how I can make these better, what you actually want to know about an artist if I highlight them. That would be great. So, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.